Let's talk about legal duties, those rules and responsibilities that the law expects everyone to follow, no matter who you are or where you come from. Yes, we're talking about the official rules, the ones written down in law books and enforced by courts and police. These aren't just friendly suggestions, they're requirements that help keep everything running smoothly. Think of stopping at a red light. You don't get to ignore it just because you feel like it, even if you're in a hurry or think no one's watching. The law is there to make sure everyone plays by the same rules. Legal duties aren't random suggestions, they're the foundation of a functioning society. Without them, things would quickly fall apart. They create predictability, so we're not living in chaos where contracts mean nothing and property is up for grabs. Imagine a world where promises don't matter and anyone can take what they want. Pretty stressful, right? We have duties like not harming others, paying taxes, and respecting each other's rights. These responsibilities might seem like a hassle, but they're what allow us to live together peacefully. When everyone follows these rules, society works like a well-oiled machine. People can trust each other, businesses can operate, and communities can thrive. These rules are the invisible guardrails that keep us from disaster. They quietly guide our actions, preventing accidents and misunderstandings before they even happen. Understanding legal duties means knowing your role in society's big messy project. Each of us is a piece of the puzzle, and following the rules helps everything fit together. They're not just there to annoy you, they're why we can have nice things, like safe neighborhoods, clean parks, and reliable services. So even if they're a pain sometimes, maybe be a little grateful for them. After all, legal duties are what make our lives safer, fairer, and a whole lot more predictable. Defining a legal duty isn't as simple as it sounds. At first glance, it might seem obvious. Just do what the law says, right? But when you dig a little deeper, you'll find that the idea of a duty is actually more complicated and debated than you might expect. Some legal thinkers say a duty is just following a rule because the law says so. In their view, duties are like instructions handed down by society, and we're expected to obey them simply because they exist in the rule book. Others argue a duty only matters if there's a penalty for breaking it. If there's no consequence, they say, then the rule is just empty words. What really matters is the risk of getting caught and punished. So is a duty a command that must be followed, or is it just a warning to avoid punishment? Is it about doing the right thing, or just about not getting in trouble? In reality, it's both. The law sets a standard for how we should act, and the threat of consequences is what motivates most people to actually follow it. The two ideas work together to shape our behavior. The rule gives substance, the penalty gives it teeth. Without the rule, there's nothing to follow. Without the penalty, there's no reason to care. Together, they shape how legal duties work in real life. It's this combination that makes duties more than just words on a page. They become real expectations that guide our actions. You don't steal because it's illegal, and because you don't want to get caught. The law tells you what's right, and the penalty reminds you what happens if you ignore it. Legal duties are both the instructions for how to behave and the consequences for breaking those instructions. They're the rules and the reasons to follow them, all rolled into one. That's what makes them real and why they matter in our everyday lives. Legal duties are divided into two main types, primary and secondary. Understanding this difference is key to seeing how the law shapes our everyday lives and keeps society running smoothly. Primary duties are the basic rules that everyone is expected to follow. These include things like not assaulting others, honoring your contracts, and driving safely on the roads. These duties set the standard for how we should act to avoid causing harm to others. They're like the ground rules for living together peacefully. But what happens if someone breaks a primary duty? That's where secondary duties come in. They only activate if a primary rule is broken. For example, if you crash your car while texting, you've broken a primary duty. Now you have a new responsibility to compensate the person you harmed. This is your secondary duty. The law works in two stages. First, it tries to prevent harm by setting clear rules. If harm still happens, the law steps in to fix things and make sure justice is done. So, primary duties guide our behavior and help us avoid problems, while secondary duties provide remedies and solutions if things go wrong. It's the law's way of saying, here's how to stay out of trouble, and if you slip up, here's what you need to do to fix it and make things right. This two-step system is essential for keeping order and fairness in society. It helps people trust that there are clear rules and fair solutions. So if you ever break a rule, the law doesn't just punish, it also guides you on how to make things right and restore balance. Duties can also be positive or negative. Negative duties tell you what not to do. Don't steal, don't harm, don't lie. Positive duties require action, like caring for your child or paying taxes. Sometimes both types apply. Don't interfere with an investigation, negative, and maybe you must report a crime, positive. The law balances these to protect freedom and promote the common good. Usually, the law avoids forcing action unless necessary, like helping someone you put in danger. Positive and negative duties work together to shape our responsibilities. They set boundaries and expectations for everyone. This balance keeps society running smoothly. It's all about drawing the lines between what you must do and what you must not do. So why do legal duties matter? They're what keeps society from falling apart. When someone breaks a duty, runs a red light, steals, refuses to pay, they chip away at social order. That's when legal sanctions step in: fines, jail, or paying damages. Sanctions serve two purposes: justice for victims and deterrence for everyone else. The threat of punishment makes the rules real. Legal duties and sanctions create a fair, predictable society. They apply to everyone, keeping power in check and letting us all thrive. Boring or not, that's something worth appreciating. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.